personality could change. Sometimes they come back, and there's a lot of anger coming out, and it's all part of the brain injury. But I remember always praying and asking the Lord that if Micah was to come back, that it would be for Sean, first of all, and that it would be just Micah, like a happy and content. And yeah, Sean stubbed his toe on a air mattress motor that was in the way, and it hurt his toe. And that was the very, very, very first time since the accident when people still, the doctor still said we're not sure, is he there, is he not there? And he laughed out loud.
Micah was basically the nicest kid in the group. He was always the kid to come up to me or other kids in the group and be like, oh, don't do that, you guys aren't doing the right thing or something, or someone would say something mean to the other guy and he'd always, stand up for him. Basically, the night before his crash, so it would be July 23rd, I was hanging out with Micah. We were walking back from the trailer and Micah said something that was really interesting to me. He goes, hey Steven, haven't you noticed that every single person in our C group has something about God or Jesus on our bike? So, for example, right here it says Jesus on my 125. Right here it says Jesus on my 250. This was the bike I was riding out there. And everyone else in the group, they had something like FCA on their bike, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, whatever it was. They had some Christian reference. So Micah said, isn't it kind of interesting that everybody in our C group has something referencing and representing God or Jesus, yet we aren't representing him well at all. None of us were. And obviously Micah, you can see how good of a kid he was, and that kind of, I stepped back and thought, and I was like, wow, he's right. Like, none of us were doing that. And Micah said, we're in motocross. Motocross is an extremely dangerous sport, and none of us know when we're gonna go. And he made that comment to me, and I just remember thinking, like, yeah, we need to represent God well. We're doing all these sponsor things and riding good, but none of us, we're all teenage guys. So Micah's comment the night before the crash was just really interesting about how he said, you never know when anybody's gonna go. So we need to be on the right page and be representing God well.
God knows me.
I love everyone on earth.
And I'm not
Now, fast forwarding to where he's at now, he very consistent with his contentment. Very consistent. And when we ask him, are you ever frustrated? Are you ever sad or depressed? All normal things that we would totally understand. He always says, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. There's no sadness. What should I be sad about? He still says, 2 years later, he still says, I would never trade it for the world. And when we ask him why, it's because he met Jesus. He saw the glory. He told us he met the bread of life. And those are not our words as parents raising him.
So even if you could ride again, you wouldn't take that back?
Never.
And why?
I meant the Lord.
And that is the most important thing ever.
And that is the most important thing ever.
What's gonna work?
5-year-old girl painted it.
both of her parents were atheists. And she painted that. When you first saw that image, what did you think?
That was the man who kissed you on the forehead. All he wants to do and all he is doing naturally everywhere we go is share God's love. I have not seen any discontentment, anger, frustration, depression, sadness, nothing, none of it. And if you ask him, he says it's because he has met the Lord. There is no other way, because that would all be totally normal.